Hi everybody, welcome to That's Football. Arteta Out. I shouldn't laugh. As a United fan, obviously I'm over the moon, but this is That's Football. I've got to try and be... Well, look, actually, I'm looking forward to doing this, not just because Manchester United won against all odds, but I've spoken about United in depth on the United stand, so check out my match reaction. Here, I'm going to talk about Arsenal. Here, I'm going to talk about stuff I haven't seen yet. I would imagine there are a number of Arsenal fans, some of them who've been Arteta out secretly for a while, who are screaming and shouting, I told you so. We live in a world of football now, especially around content creation, where the love for their actual club doesn't exist, and most of it is about, I told you so. It's about being right. And you're never going to be right in football because you're always going to be right. If you say a player's shit and they're world class, one day they'll have a bad game and then you'll say they're shit. So there is no point in being like that. You should, at the core, always support your team. So I think when you look at Arsenal, what's best for Arsenal? Is it best for Arsenal that you shout Arteta out because you want to be proved right? Or is it time to be concerned about Arteta in charge? I think one player symbolises Arsenal's problem, and I've said it before, Havertz. Not because he missed chances today, not because he missed a sitter against Newcastle, but because the signing of Havertz, to me, was strange. It was a lot of money to Chelsea for a player I think Chelsea were happy to get rid of, that not many other clubs would have bought for that price to solve your scoring problems. And I look at Arsenal, and Saka is fantastic, and he's world class, and any team's going to miss him. But if Salah or De Bruyne are out for Liverpool and Man City, they don't stop scoring goals. But Arsenal are so reliant on Saka, and Havertz was brought in to solve that problem, and he's not reliable. He is not a goal scorer. So for me, I look at Arsenal, like anybody does now, and go, you miss a goal scorer. If you had a goal scorer today, I would not have been sat there worrying about what the referee was going to do. I'd be worried about Arsenal will score because this striker's good enough. If you put Erling Haaland up front for Arsenal today, I know Haaland has quiet games, but he has quiet games when teams defend well and play well. We would have conceded chances today, and we did, and Haaland would have scored. So Man United are through because Arsenal are toothless and they're so reliant. I don't know what Arteta's doing at the moment. I've been a big fan of his. And look, Arsenal are in a great position compared to where they were before him. You're consistently in the Champions League. You've fought for titles. But questions are starting to be asked. He shouldn't be in jeopardy. He shouldn't be people shouting Arteta out because the job he's done is great. And this is the first time it's started to go wrong. But the stubbornness of Arteta needs to change. At times over the last 2 years, Arsenal have played fantastic football. They've been a joy to watch. Watching them today is the first time I'm going to be critical. And I've had a lot of Arsenal fans over the years say, fair play, you always speak well about Arsenal. And maybe that's about to change, but I am going to be critical. I don't know why Arteta has changed Arsenal from being a really good footballing side to a side that seems to have become obsessed with set pieces. 3 games I've watched Arsenal now. Brighton, Newcastle, United. I don't know how many corners you've had, but I don't think you scored any of them. You've been figured out. Teams have figured out how to deal with something that you spent a lot of time on and got a lot of pleasure out of. But as in life, these things change and you've been figured out. Beyond your set pieces, you're not very intimidating. I mean, even the goal today comes from Gabriel. He's a more of a threat than most of your attackers, and he's a centre-back. So I don't know why Arteta's done that. That fundamentally is a problem. Secondly, it was really disappointing to see Arsenal adopting Man City tactics today. Falling around on the floor to win free kicks, surrounding the referee. It's almost like Arsenal have become obsessed with getting advantages from yellow cards and red cards and set pieces. And that's not really what Arsenal were doing. They were creating chances. They were scoring goals. They were an entertaining team to watch. They've become very formulaic. They've become very boring to watch. Toothless, reliant on set pieces. Still a very good defensive side, but a hard watch and also becoming quite unlikable. That's not a problem for me as a United fan or Liverpool fans. I'm sure Arsenal fans don't care. But they're starting to become unlikable for their own fans. And Arteta needs to look at that. They need a striker. That'll change a lot of things. They're very tired. I predicted that this was going to be a bad week for them. Drawing at Brighton. Newcastle are good. You've lost to them. Man United have beat you. And then it's Spurs on Wednesday. Your season is over very quickly really. You're not going to get back in the Carabao Cup. You're out the FA Cup. You're not going to win the league, and you're probably not going to win the Champions League. So it's another trophyless season. That's not a reason to sack Arteta. I always look at it and go, what's the alternative? And screaming and shouting is, you know, I've done it. I've been there. But there comes a point where it's not actually conducive for a successful Arsenal side. You are really close. I look at Arsenal and I go, you're really close. And I think that's the frustration for a lot of fans for Arsenal, is that they're not there. But you are so close. Be careful what you scream and shout about. Look at West Ham with Moyes. They were a certain level of club, and now they're down there. If Arsenal remove Arteta, where are you going to go? And that's what I mean about screaming and shouting. I think there's a lot of Arsenal fans who scream and shout because they want people to go, he was right. He was right about Arteta. He always was right. He said that. But they're not right, because Arteta's took you to 2 title races and puts you comfortably in the Champions League. If you sack Arteta, I guarantee within 12 months you'll be going, we shouldn't have done that. I get the frustration that you're not where you want to be, but removing Arteta, I don't see anybody that comes in and takes that team to title. I think he's overachieved, and now it's almost like he's trying to be too clever. You're literally a striker away from winning the league. You know, you don't need to reinvent how you're playing. You don't need to start the dark arts of winning free kicks and getting people sent off and surrounding the referee and focusing on set pieces. Last season, you were like so close to winning the league, and you've changed this year. You need a bloody striker. Ollie Watkins from Aston Villa would have won you the game today. Football's really simple, and it feels to me like Arteta is overcomplicating things. And look, you're always going to get the loud people shouting, and I don't think they ever did want Arteta. I think they've just been quiet, and now they'll be loud. But you can't lose the 70-80% of support that you've actually got. They're a tired team. They haven't got a big squad, and I think more bad results will come. But fundamentally, they're close. 2 good signings and Arsenal could win the league. Liverpool have won the league this year. There's not a massive amount of difference, but I think that striker thing is massive. And you watch it today, an hour against 10 men, and it was scrappy. There were chances, but it was scrappy. People will say Arsenal should have won the game because they had 2 or 3 good chances. I would say Man United deserved to win the game because they defended well. Those scrappy chances that you missed would be scored by a player if they were good enough. It's as simple as that. So that's my thoughts on it. Get your comments in below. Make sure you smash a like on the video, and I await your comments below. Thanks for watching.